everybody. It's time to read a classic, and this one, maybe your mom told you this story. I don't know. It's called Red Riding Hood, retold and illustrated by James Marshall, who has done a lot of awesome books. A long time ago, in a simple cottage beside the deep dark woods, there lived a pretty child called Red Riding Hood. She was kind and considerate, and everybody loved her. One afternoon, Red Riding Hood's mother called to her. "Granny isn't feeling up to snuff today," she said, "so I've baked her favorite custard and a little surprise. Be a good girl and take it to her, will you?" Red Riding Hood was delighted. She loved going to Granny's, even though it meant crossing the deep, dark woods. When the custard had cooled, Red Riding Hood's mother wrapped it up and put it in a basket. "Now, whatever you do," she said, "go straight to Granny's. Do not tarry. Do not speak to any strangers." "Yes, Mamma," said Red Riding Hood. Do not tarry means don't dilly-dally. What? Go straight there. Before long, she was in the deepest part of the woods. "Ooh," she said, "this is scary. I see something. Dun, dun, dun." Suddenly a large wolf appeared. "Good afternoon, my dear," he said. "Can we stop for a little chat?" "Oh, gracious me," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Mamma said not to speak to any strangers." But the wolf has such charming manners. "And where are you going, sweet thing?" he said. "I'm on my way to visit Granny, who lives in the pretty yellow house on the other side of the woods," said Red Riding Hood. "She's feeling poorly, and I'm taking her a surprise." "You don't say," said the wolf. Just then he had a delightful idea. "No reason why I can't eat them both," he thought. "Allow me to escort you," he said. "You never know what might be lurking about." "You're too kind," said Red Riding Hood. Far be it from me to second guess somebody's motives, but I think Red Riding Hood could be in trouble here. Beyond the forest, they came to a patch of sunflowers. "Why not pick a few?" suggested the wolf. "Grannies love flowers, you know." But while Red Riding Hood was picking a pretty bouquet, the clever wolf hurried on ahead to Granny's house. "Who is it?" called out Granny. "It is I, your delicious, darling granddaughter," said the wolf in a high voice. "The door—" Oh, that wasn't a high voice. "It is I, your delicious, darling granddaughter," said the wolf in a high voice. "The doors are locked," said Granny. "Wow, quite inviting, isn't she?" "Surprise!" cried the wolf. Granny was furious at having her reading interrupted. "Get out of here, you horrible thing!" she cried. But the wolf gobbled her right up. He didn't even bother to chew. "Tasty," he said, patting his belly. "So tasty." Just then he heard footsteps in the garden path. "Here comes dessert." And losing no time, he put on Granny's cap and glasses, jumped into bed, and pulled up the covers. He called out in his sweetest Granny voice. "It is I, your little granddaughter," said Red Riding Hood. "The doors are locked," said the wolf. Look at his feet sticking out the bottom. Red Riding Hood was distressed at seeing her grandmother so changed. "Why, Granny," she said, "what big eyes you have!" "The better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "And Granny, what long arms you have!" "The better to hug you, my dear," said the wolf. "And Granny, you have? The better eat you would, my dear, cried the wolf. Oh. And he gobbled it right up. I'm so wicked, he said, so wicked. But he was enormously pleased with himself, and having enjoyed such a heavy meal, he was soon snoring away. A hunter passing by was alarmed by the frightful racket. That doesn't sound like Granny, he said to the hunter. And so the brave hunter jumped in the window, killing the sleeping wolf and cut him open. Ugh. Out jumped Granny and Red Riding Hood. Oh, we're ever so grateful, said Red Riding Hood. That wicked wolf won't trouble you again, said the hunter. It was so dark in there I couldn't read a word, said Granny. Red Riding Hood promised never ever to speak to another stranger, charming manners or not. And no, and she never did. Don't speak to alligators in the woods. Bad news. A classic, I told you. Did you like it?